In this short video, we are going to be covering the groundbreaking history of the S2M Center by Cabinet Vision. In 1987, we released our panel vision optimization software. We took your cut lists and, taking into account yield and labor, turned them into the patterns on a printout for your saw operator to use for cutting. We have been generating saw optimization for nearly 30 years. In 1996, we started outputting NC code directly to numerically controlled panel saws. Over the years, we have developed great partnerships with many of the largest panel saw manufacturers around the world. Also, back in 1996, we started outputting DXF files for third-party CAM applications to convert into G-code for CNC machining centers and routers. And since that time, we have developed great partnerships with many of the largest machining center manufacturers around the world. In 2000, we introduced Screen to Machine with direct links to CNC machining centers and routers. Since 2000, we have linked to over 18,000 machines. And of course, we have built great partnerships with CNC router manufacturers from all over the world. In 2001, we introduced Label It, a labeling solution designed to be located at your panel saw or nested base router. Simply touch the part on the screen that you are cutting, and Label It prints out its labels with part information along with barcodes to run programs on machines further down your production line. In 2002, we started outputting directly to drill and dowel machines and created great partnerships with drill and dowel machine manufacturers. In 2007, we started outputting directly to chop saw fence systems like Tiger Stop and Razor Gauge. And of course, we partner with the leading manufacturers of automated fence systems. In 2008, we started outputting directly to specialized machines like the Hoffman haunching system. We have several specialized machinery partners. In 2015, we started outputting directly to material handling systems. And within the last year, we have added several material handling system partners. In 2017, we are bringing all of this together with our new workflow functionality in S2M Center version 10. Managing production with many different computerized machines available in your shop can be a challenge. How does the part need to flow through your machines? Which machines does it need to run on? What if you have multiple machines that can do the same processes, but current schedule load makes one of them unavailable? These are the challenges that the S2M Center workflow can handle for you. In a work cell environment, the process a typical part takes is pretty straightforward. You start by cutting the part on your panel saw. Next, your parts that get vertical machining go to your machining center. Then any parts which get horizontal drilling and dowel insertion go to your drill and dowel machine. So looking at the workflow instructions at the bottom of the screen, this would appear on the parts label. Saw, then point to point 1, then drill and dowel 1. If a part doesn't need to go to the drill and dowel machine, then the part would simply show saw, then point to point 1. And if the part had no machining at all, the workflow would show saw only. What happens though if you are getting more production out of your panel saw than you can get out of your point-to-point and you add another point-to-point in your shop? Well, the old way would be that your engineer in the office would choose which point-to-point to generate the programs for, or maybe he generated the programs for both separately. With the new workflow functionality in the S2M Center, he can output all parts to both point-to-point machines in a single output process. This allows your production manager to choose which machine he wants to run the job on based on each machine's current workload. As you see at the bottom of the screen, point-to-point 1 and point-to-point 2 are in parentheses. This lets the production manager know that the part can go to either of the point-to-point machines. In a nesting environment, the process a typical part takes is also pretty straightforward. You start by cutting the part on your nested base router. Next, your parts that get additional vertical machining on the opposite face will be processed on your router individually, unless, of course, you take advantage of the S2M Center's 6-face nesting capability. Then, any parts which get horizontal drilling and dowel insertion go to your drill and dowel machine. What happens though if your nested base router spends the majority of its time focused on nesting and you add a point-to-point in your shop to handle the secondary processing? We already know the old method, but with S2M Center 10's new workflow functionality, all secondary parts can be output to both the nested base router and the point-to-point simultaneously. Again, this allows your production manager to choose which machine to run the job on based on current workload. Let's look at a more sophisticated setup. Let's say you cut your backs, drawer bottoms, and adjustable shelves, which get no special machining, on your panel saw, and then parts with machining actually get cut out on your nested base router. Not a problem. With a single output process, all of the programs can be generated for these parts. How about a strict or even automated flow? You cut your parts on your saw, machine verticals on your point-to-point, drill holes and insert dowels on your first drill and dowel machine, and then insert RTA fittings on a second drill and RTA machine. You set your workflow up so operations are consumed from your parts as they pass through your process, so you end up with a finished part when the workflow is complete. S2M Center version 10 gives you the power to completely control your production on your computerized machinery. Bringing nearly 30 years of S2M Center technology together with the new flexibility of workflows in S2M Center version 10 will allow you to have complete control of your production with your NC and CNC woodworking machinery. Are you ready to take your shop to the next level? S2M Center version 10 is the answer you have been waiting for. If you would like more information on S2M Center version 10, please visit us at www.screentomachine.com.